Okay, folks, welcome to Shnockered Wrestling Review. I'm your host, George the Drunken Animal. Today's going to be a long one because I'm going to go over both my thoughts on both Takeover Brooklyn 2 and Summerslam. Assisting me in this endeavor tonight, I shall be consuming Malibu Red with Malibu Premium Rum with tequila and coconut liqueur. Yeah, it's pretty strong stuff, and I'm going to need it for what's about to go down. So, first off, overall impressions on both shows. Takeover, definitely the better of the two shows, while SummerSlam just had an odd feel to me. It wasn't a bad show, it just wasn't. There was just something off about it. I'm not sure what it was, but we'll get into my overall thoughts on that whenever we get to that. But if I were giving like a 10 out of 10 rating on the shows, Takeover Brooklyn would be easily about an 8, and SummerSlam probably about a 6 or 7. But, so, we started off Takeover Brooklyn with Austin Aries versus No Way Jose. And here's where I'm about to probably start pissing off a few people. I don't get Austin Aries. I get his character. He just doesn't impress me that much anymore. I don't know what it was. No Way Jose actually impressed me more than Austin Aries did. This is going to be a recurring theme on a few of these matches tonight, where the people that are supposed to be the stars and everything are kind of outshone by their opponents. Now, No Way Jose, his character, yeah, it's kind of goofy. It's kind of fun, but he did show me a good serious side, and he had a lot of really good moves and a lot of fire in him. I would love to see him eventually make his way to the main roster, not as the No Way Jose character though, because that just has Adam Rose written all over it, where his entrance at NXT garners more reaction than it would in the main roster, and I just wouldn't see that particular character working. But if they retooled him just a bit, gave him a little more of an edge, a little more serious side, I could see him definitely being on the main roster sooner rather than later. Aries ends up winning after Jose had him up for a superplex. Aries nails him in the throat with a short elbow. The announcers kept trying to say that he got hit in the jaw or whatever, but it was obvious that it was supposed to be that he got a shot in the throat, and then Aries comes off, nails him, I think with a drop kick or something, and then locks in the last chancery, forcing the tap out. Then after the match, he continues to attack. He's still pissed off that he had to face No Way Jose and whatever. And all of a sudden, Hideo Itami's music hits. And Itami comes out, confronts Aries, and eventually hits the GTS, setting up their next program. I kind of want to see Itami turn full heel right now. He's ever since he's been back, he's been acting more heelish than usual. I could see him getting a good heel run and eventually making his way back into the title picture, which we'll get into later. So then, let's see, after that match, I believe was the... sorry, this is professional podcasting at its finest here, folks. Where am I at? Okay. Oh yeah, the Billie Kay versus the debuting Ember Moon. First off, I'd never heard or seen Ember Moon before tonight. Some people said that they've seen her. It's the former Athena, trained by Booker T. She was okay. I'm not sure I really am digging the red eye contacts throughout the match. That just kind of creepy. I'm not sure. She seems like she's kind of a heelish persona, but she's more face. It's a weird dynamic as to what she's actually supposed to be. So we'll give her a chance and see, because she was fairly impressive. Billie Kay, on the other hand, she has stepped up her game, and I'm really, this is another case where Billie Kay impressed me a little bit more than Ember Moon did. She had a lot of good counters, a lot of good moves in there and everything, and they gelled really well together. The match ended when Ember Moon hits this really sick jumping stunner off the top rope type move that, if you haven't seen it, you need to see the move, because it's quite impressive. But like I said, I'm not sure where they're going to go with this Ember Moon character, whether or not where they're going with that. Then after that, I believe, was Bobby Roode versus Andrade Cien Almas. Where do I start? Bobby Roode had a great entrance. He's a great presence. I don't get him. He did not really impress me in the match itself. He's one of those, it seems like he does have he's good on the mic. He's really impressive looking. His entrance is glorious as it is, but he just didn't really impress me that much wrestling wise. Now, Almas, on the other hand, he was pulling out some moves that, again, here another case of the person that you don't think is supposed to be the impressive one, basically outshining the guy he loses to. So, yeah, because the only move I don't really like about Almas, and and I think it's more of just the way they film the move when they're doing it, is his supposed running knees to the in the corner. To me, it always, they tend to zoom close enough in on the thing to where you can see his knees pass on either side of his opponent's head, and he's basically just shoving his crotch into the guy's face. At least he's no longer using that as a finisher, so that's one thing. I think as long as he uses that as like a setup move, and they quit trying to film it as close as they do, it would look more impressive. And his hammerlock DDT does look pretty sick. Bobby Roode, on the other hand, used what he called the Glorious Bomb, which basically is a pump handle power bomb type move that it just didn't look like he really got much on it. He lifted him up, he didn't really lift him up that high. He just like kind of did him into the pump handle and then dropped him straight down and got the pin. Again, I can see with Bobby Roode's looks and his speaking ability, he's another one that will go up onto the main roster sooner rather than later. But I just not overly taken with his wrestling ability at this point. Maybe Maybe later on, after a few more matches of seeing him, I might change my mind, but just from this one match, I was not that overly impressed with that. Then, where did we get? Oh yes, one of the matches of the night. Probably, I would have to probably say this was second in my matches of the night. The tag title match, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa versus the Revival. God, did I love this match. This was good old-fashioned, old-school tag team wrestling at its finest. The Revival, they are just on fire. I love their tactics. I love the way they do things. They do all the little things right. And Gargano and Ciampa are both really good foils for them. Especially Gargano. He's got that sympathetic babyface thing going where he just, you see him getting beat down and beat down and beat down, and he refuses to give up. He kicks out of stuff that you didn't think he should, and I see them eventually putting the tag titles on these two, but I'm not at all disappointed that the Revival kept them for now. I don't know how the Revival would fare on the main roster, though, mainly due to their size. They're really impressive. They are they do have really good chemistry together. I've liked them since one of the first times I saw them when they first started in NXT, and they were going by the Mechanics, and their straight up Smash Mouth style, reminiscent of the old school Andersons and like that. It's just their size doesn't lend itself well to their style on the main roster. I don't see how their style is going to mesh with the main roster with their size, but I could be wrong. I really could. I hope I am good, because I really do love the Revival. Those are probably behind American Alpha. They are my favorite tag team in the WWE right now. And then, the Revival did retain the tag titles after they'd taken out. Well, first Gargano and Ciampa had hit their double super kick on Dash Wilder in the ring, but Dawson grabs his foot and sticks it on the rope when the ref isn't looking. So they thought they'd won. They didn't. Ciampa gets taken out on the outside. They chop block Gargano and then hit that jump on his leg with the reverse figure four, and then slap the reverse figure four on again, eventually getting him to tap out. So that's going to be, like I said, he's a real sympathetic babyface, and I could see. I think one of the main reasons that they didn't put the tag titles on him right now is mainly because Gargano is still in the excuse me Cruiserweight Classic, and I don't see him being able to do double duty with being a tag champ and going in the CWC, which I do see him going quite a ways in. I would love to see him win it, but I don't see him winning it. But we'll have to see. Then after that, it should have been, oh yes, the match of the night for me. Anybody who knows me and has listened to any of my NXT stuff knows I am a huge fan of Asuka. She is, without a doubt, in my mind, the best women's wrestler all around in the WWE right now. Just the way she, even with her limited vocabulary, she doesn't need to talk. Her facials, her body language, the way she tells a story in the ring, with whoever she's against, she's faced everyone from the giant Nia Jax to Bayley to Alexa Bliss. You name it, she's gone through them, and it will be interesting to see where they go with her, because she is still undefeated in NXT, and I don't see there being anybody on the horizon right now that can defeat her. Bayley is, of course, she's Bayley. She's right up there with Asuka, in my opinion. I really do hope that we do see her on Raw tomorrow. I could just I would love to see her debut on Raw and challenge for the women's title, or at least, I don't think challenging right out the gate, but have her do what she did in NXT, work her way slowly up, let everybody know who she is. She did make a main roster debut at the last pay-per-view where she was Sasha Banks' partner, but I don't think that they should immediately throw her in the title picture when she debuts. I think they need to throw a few obstacles in her way first, let her show who she is, what she's all about before she actually gets in the title picture. But I do see, I could see by WrestleMania, that's where I would have Bayley go after the women's title against whoever's the champ at the time. But again, this was a match. Bayley came out and she was very determined. She had this very serious demeanor about her. Asuka came out and she's just like, she's a face, but she was really healing it up a lot in this match, not taking Bayley seriously, playing around with her, and just toying with her like a cat does with a injured bird. It would be my best description. That's what I do love about Asuka, is she can turn on a dime from very smiley, happy baby face to sick, sadistic, twisted heel at the drop of a hat. And she's by far, like I said, my favorite women's wrestler right now. So it was a good back and forth at the first. Like I said, Bayley was being frustrated at every turn. Asuka was just toying with her, playing around with her, but eventually Bayley turned it around. Asuka missed a move and was able to capitalize on it, and then finally Asuka started taking her seriously. But Bayley actually nailed the Bayley to belly, and I thought for sure that was it. I don't remember the last time anybody actually kicked out of a Bayley to belly like that, that was that close. But she did, and then all of a sudden Asuka just starts unloading kicks and just nails her in the head with one sick kick. Bayley stands up and she's like, bring more. So she just punts her head to the third row and knocks her completely out. You could just it was one of the sickest sounding kicks outside of Tajiri that you'll ever hear. And yeah, that was the end of Bailey. They did have the other horsewomen at ringside, and then Asuka did raise her hand and showed respect, and then Bailey went out and hugged Sasha and Charlotte and Becky, and so yeah, I really want to see Bailey up on the main roster now, but where they go with this women's division now, it'll be interesting. Like I said, I don't see there being anybody out there right now that can really challenge Asuka, but you never can tell. They did have this really weird, what was it, Sanity promo that popped up in the middle of nowhere, and even the announcers were like, "What the hell was that? What the fuck are you, huh?" So I'm assuming that's going to be another debuting wrestler soon. So we can see who that could be. I've read that Mary Dodson, who'd come in for a couple of enhancement matches, she just got signed, and I know her gimmick on the Indies was Crazy Mary Dodson, I think is what it was. So it could be something like that, or it could be anything. It could be anyone. That's what I like about NXT. You never know who is going to show up and what's going to happen next. So then after that, we get the main event. The Samoa Joe versus Shinsuke Nakamura, King of Strong Style. Fight. That's all this was. This was Shinsuke Nakamura and Samoa Joe just went out there, and they had one of the stiffest looking matches I've seen in a long time. It was they both just went out there and proceeded to beat the hell out of each other. It was that would have been my third top match of the night, after the Asuka Bailey and the tag matches. The main event, it delivered what it needed to do. It was not like anything else on the card. It was two guys that really, you could tell they respected each other but didn't like each other, and it's Nakamura being his Nakamura-iest, toying around with Joe, getting inside his head, and knowing that was going to be the only way he could get an advantage, was to get Joe off of his game. And there were so many near falls, so many close submissions. Joe just pulled out move after move that you've never seen before. Nakamura pulling out stuff all over the place. Joe nails Nakamura with a muscle buster, and everybody thought that was it because nobody's ever kicked out of the muscle buster. Well, Nakamura did. He went and he kicked out of that. He nails a close range Kinshasa that looked like it legit broke Joe's jaw. When I'm not sure if that's the case or not, but that's what I love about these two, is they can make it look so real that you don't know. And then he finally sets him up and nails a second Kinshasa. 1, 2, 3. King of Strong Style is your new NXT champ. So congrats to him. He's he's the man now. So we shall see where it goes with him. Now, what I would like to see, as I mentioned earlier about Hideo Itami, I could see him being a challenge for Nakamura down the road. That I think would be an outstanding match. If I had to guess, they're probably going to feed Rude to him first. Have Nakamura have a decent run, beat a few guys, eventually build up, beat Rude, and then eventually Hideo gets fed up with being overlooked, as he was the big Japanese star before Nakamura showed up. He went out with the injury. Now he came back, and he no longer has that spot. He gets pissed off, and his road to redemption, to where he eventually gets the NXT title. That I think, had he not gotten injured when he did, it probably would have been Itami in the Balor spot right now. And as far as him being the champ at the time, I don't know that they would have brought him up the way they did Balor. But it'll be interesting to see how things go from there. So, again, overall, great show. Not too many matches, really short, sweet, to the point. Like I said, probably about 8 or 9 out of 10 for me. And then we go to SummerSlam. Now, how the hell the same company, WWE, can have two separate quote brands? They have the developmental, and then they have the main roster, and be so, you have the developmental guys constantly outshining the main roster writers and the main roster guys. It may be that they have a little more creative freedom down there. They have more chances to shine doing things, but come on, it's I don't know. It didn't help that SummerSlam was like 5 fucking hours long or some shit like that. I actually did try to watch. Well, I didn't watch the entire pre-show. I fast forwarded through most of it just to get to the matches. The kickoff show matches were fun for what they were. You had the what was the super tag 8-man match. It had American Alpha, the Hype Bros, and the Usos versus the Ascension, Rizango, and Vaudevillains. I think I can't remember who all was in it. That was a good fun match. It got to showcase all of the teams, and the end where one of the Usos blind tagged himself in just as American Alpha was hitting their tag team finisher and steals the pin from them. Kind of teasing a little heel turn, which they desperately need. The Usos have gotten beyond stale. I think a good heel run with them would be good. Ditch the face paint. I really want to see them. I kind of would like to see them go back to what they were when they very first debuted. When they first debuted, they didn't have the face paint. They were these two young, cocky, second-generation wrestlers who thought the world was owed them, and that they were they were the best thing since sliced bread. Coming out in fancy suits and stuff like that. I kind of want to see him go back to something like that. And I think a feud between them and American Alpha would just be amazing. And then you had the next pre-show match was Dudley's versus Neville and Sami Zayn. I didn't realize Sami Zayn and Neville had been... Well, I guess they just tagged up for this match. Just... At least Sami Zayn got on the card somehow. That he's another one that's kind of... This brand split has done no favors to, because he's gotten lost in the shuffle again. But this was more a story, again, of the Dudleys miscommunicating, and I think they're setting up a split for the Dudleys again, and I kind of want to see that. I'd like to see Bubba get a good strong heel run as a solo wrestler. Devon, just at this point, the Dudleys have really done all they can do as a team since they've come back. I personally think they should have at least got one good tag title run in before they started dropping out to anybody and everybody on the roster. But, well, that is what it is. And then you had the first match of the best of 7 between Cesaro and Sheamus. Well, this is going to be a long feud, the best of 7 series. I love Cesaro. Sheamus, he's okay. I think this is at least something to keep Cesaro's name out there and keep him strong doing something. I really hope that he does end up finally winning this feud. Sheamus, he's another one who's been around way too long and has gotten stale. He keeps trying to reinvent himself, but he always ends up being the same big Irish bully with different hairstyles. And it's but this was a really, really good match. I was really surprised. Sheamus actually did step up his game, and I think him and Cesaro do have really good chemistry together. And I see this being a good program for both of them. But Cesaro really needs to finally win this whole feud. The first match did go to Sheamus after a quick thumb to the eye while the ref wasn't looking. Blasts him from behind, throws him in the ropes, nails a brogue kick. 1, 2, 3. So that was that. Then we get to the pay-per-view proper. It started off fairly hot. You had Enzo Amore and Big Cass versus Jericho, Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens. A fun little match again. I'm not sure where they're going with this. Personally, I would have thought that you'd put Kaz and Enzo over, but I think what's probably going to eventually happen, they're building Jericho and Kevin Owens. They're best friends now and everything. It's going to end up like every other fucking tag team that Chris Jericho has been in like the last 5 years, 10 years, whatever. Each time he comes back, he'll team with somebody. They'll get along for a month or so. One or the other will turn on each other. And end up breaking that team up. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see a Jericho Owens feud come out of this eventually, which I think could be really good. It's Jericho's in the point now. His job is to make other people look good, and eventually job out to the new guys. So I see eventually them Kaz and Enzo getting a final win over those two after some kind of miscommunication, and then I guess it'd be Owens just saying screw it and leaving Jericho on his own, laid out for Kaz and Enzo, and just walking out on him, setting up their feud. But then, let's see, what was after that? That was because this was a long fucking show. There were way too many matches, and it just went way too long. So with that, over here. Oh yeah, the women's title match. I was rather shocked to see it on this early in the show. And this in the first match had set up a running theme for the first half of the show of heels getting wins over strong baby faces that you didn't really think would. So you had Sasha Banks versus Charlotte. Dana Brooke being banned from ringside, so this was just a straight up singles match between the two of them. They were. Here's where I thought Bayley was going to debut. I figured that they would do something where somebody would run down to try to help Charlotte, be it Dana Brooke in a disguise or something, and Bayley coming out to stop it and save her or whatever. But no, they just did a regular straight up match, and the whole story of the match was Charlotte working over Sasha Banks' back, and just both of them having counter after counter for they'd known each other so well that they were able to each counter out of each other's moves and everything. I did kind of like the way they did the finish, because it even though Charlotte did get the pin on Sasha did look really strong, and it was more of a kind of a fluke pin where Sasha had Charlotte in the bank statement bending her damn near in half, and then Charlotte just rolls her weight over enough, hooks the leg, and gets the pin on her while she's still in the bank statement. I thought that was pretty creative, and like I said, we'll now see where this goes. Like I said, I'm hoping that Bayley does debut next on Monday Night Raw, and sets up her starts setting the seeds for an eventual title match against Charlotte. Then we had the Intercontinental match, Apollo Crews and The Miz. Apollo Crews is another one of those that I don't get. He's talented, but he doesn't really have... He's a smiling, happy babyface. That's his gimmick. And it just... I don't know. He needs something. He needs an edge. He needs to do something to differentiate himself from everybody else. It just, like I said, he's immensely talented. He's very athletic. He does moves that no man his size should be able to do. I'm really impressed with his athletic ability. I just don't get his character right now. He definitely needs something. I don't know what it is. I'm not the creative kind of guy. It's just I know what I see and I know what I like, and him I just don't really get. But The Miz ends up retaining after capitalizing on Cruz missing a turnbuckle splash and Miz nailing the skull-crushing finale and getting the pin. But it was a good match. I mean, don't get me wrong. They did go out there and they did put on a really good match. And I'm not one of those people that hate The Miz. I kind of like him. I think he's in a really good spot right now. He's, for lack of a better comparison, he's this generation's honky tonk man. The Intercontinental Champion that everybody in the crowd knows they can beat the crap out of, and they're just waiting for somebody to do it, but he always manages to find some way to win. I'm really digging that, and having the hot Maurice with him just really amps up the everything with him, knowing that he's such a slimy chicken shit, but is married to one of the hottest women on the planet, and he can actually get it done in the ring when he needs to. That I really like his character that way. He's really cool with that. Then that was that. Oh, then the match of the night. We finally get the AJ Styles John Cena match. Oh my fucking god. Those two went out there, and AJ Styles and John Cena both proved why they're there and why how great they can be. They both pulled out moves that you'd never seen before. Cena did his usual, I'm going to invent moves and pull shit that you've never seen me do before. AJ pulled out a bunch of stuff that you hadn't seen before. Hell, even the announcers were having a hard time calling some of the shit that they were doing because nobody'd ever seen some of it. It was a good, hard-fought, back-and-forth battle. And going into this match, I was hoping AJ would win. I really was. He needed this win more than anything else right now to finally legitimize himself as a main event player. And I can see him now moving on and moving up in the card. It would not surprise me at all to see him very shortly challenging for the WWE Universal title. God, I hate that name, and the belt itself is, ew, would be my description of that. But we'll get to that later. Cena eventually does hit a top rope AA, and I thought, oh, well, fuck, that's it. Nobody kicks out of a top rope AA from John Cena. He's going to do what he normally does. AJ gets one fluke win. Cena gets 15 strong wins over him in the next to finish off the feud, and that'd be the end of AJ Styles. But fortunately, they didn't do that. And I think Cena's finally... I know I'm not one of those Cena haters that says he can't wrestle and constantly buries people. The man can wrestle. I've never said that I didn't think he couldn't wrestle. And he does... when he needs to put somebody over big, he can. And this is one of those times. And I think that's what a lot of people forget, is for somebody to finally beat John Cena to mean something, he has to constantly beat other people and remain as strong as he is, or it will eventually mean nothing. That he would end up in the Jericho spot. I think Cena's career is finally going to be winding down. This was the perfect opportunity for him to finally put over somebody big and get the next big star going that they need desperately. Because, like I said, he is winding his career down. He can't go on forever. And right now, if God forbid something were to happen and he loses a leg, or he does something where he can no longer wrestle ever again, the WWE would be really scrambling for top stars to replace him right now, because they've done a really piss poor job of building up the new generation of wrestlers. This pay-per-view did make a big step towards starting to make other stars, and this AJ Cena match was a really huge part of that. But anyway, AJ does end up, he kicks out of the Super AA. Cena just gets this, what the fuck do I have to do to kill this guy? How do I beat him? And JBL brought up a great point where Cena's now in the point where his opponents have been for years, where they hit him with everything, yet he keeps coming back. And now AJ's doing that. AJ has taken that, he's taken John Cena's best stuff, and he gave it right back to him, and eventually nails the Styles Clash, followed by another phenomenal forearm, laying Cena out cold and getting the pin right in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3. No interference, no shenanigans, nothing like that. You very rarely see John Cena lose that way, and he really needed to in this match to get AJ where he needs to be, and props to Cena for that. Then the show started going downhill from there. God, that was it. And then, the tag title match. I don't know where the fuck to begin with this shit. I love Gallows and Anderson. They need to be this generation's APA. Go out, kick ass, beat people down, lay waste to them. No nonsense. Instead, we get Dr. Gallows and Dr. Anderson with trying to cure ring post-itis or whatever the fuck. Yes, they're funny guys, and they are great. If you ever listen to any of their old Talking Shop podcasts, they are hilarious. But that's not what they need to be now. When they're in the ring, they need to be taken seriously as big ass kickers that they are. I also forgot to mention, because it comes up in this, Jon Stewart made an appearance on the show, and he backstage he was talking to Shane and Foley and Daniel Bryan, started shit talking Stephanie, and of course Stephanie stands up, is behind him, and hilarity ensues, I guess. Whatever, fuck, I don't know. It just, I'm done with Jon Stewart. I don't think he didn't bring anything to this at all. But so anyway, before the tag title match starts, Jon Stewart comes out to the ring, and you can tell he's wearing this gray hoodie, but you can see that he's wearing a Booty-O shirt under his hoodie. It was blatantly obvious. You could see the powder blue shirt under there, and he goes and does a whole bunch of unfunny stuff, talking about how last year he interfered and cost John Cena a match, and how, yeah, it was just a bunch of unfunny, stupid shit that had nothing to do with anything. But he said that he was going to offer his services as the third member of New Day since Big E was out with his crushed nuts. And, yeah, like I said, this was retarded and stupid. And the match itself was fun. It was fine. It did showcase both teams really well. The ending was stupid. Where the Gallows and Anderson had hit, I want to say Xavier Woods with the Magic Killer. Jon Stewart gets in the ring and starts trying to interfere, and then he starts begging off and trying to too-sweet him, and all of a sudden tucks his shirt in, because that was his a thing. And they get ready to ring post-sight as him, when all of a sudden Big E comes out of nowhere and attacks Gallows and Anderson, causing the DQ, and allowing the New Day to retain the titles, even though they lost via DQ. And then they laid waste to Gallows and Anderson. Big E ran wild, and then they did their usual post-match shenanigans and dancing, and Jon Stewart being stupid Jon Stewart, whatever. They really didn't need Jon Stewart in this at all. I'm done with this. Here was one I really had hopes that Gallows and Anderson were going to win the tag titles. Silly me. Why would I think that? They're keeping the tag titles on the New Day. I guess they seriously want to obliterate. They're already saying New Day is the longest reigning WWE Tag Team Champions or whatever. They're trying to eventually obliterate Demolition's record so they can finally say we have somebody that has beat one of the old teams. But I don't know. It's just, it's ridiculous. It's stupid. I'm done with it. New Day's, they're entertaining and everything, but I've been a fan of the New Day way when they first started doing their shtick. I remember they came through here, through Japan last year when they'd first started the New Day gimmick. They came through in July of last year, and they came to the base here that I work at, and half the people that went there didn't have a clue who the fuck they were. I was one of the only people that knew who they were, and was already getting on the New Day train, as it were. But now it's kind of run its course. It's just, they need to do something else. I think they really, really blew a chance when the brand split up them and the Wyatts I was really interested to see where that was going to end up with. How I could have seen them, the Wyatts brainwashing Xavier or something and getting him to turn on the New Day. But, yeah, whatever. Then, after that, what was the next atrocity? Oh, actually, the next match was one of the few highlights after that. The Dean Ambrose Dolph Ziggler match. I had really, really high hopes for this match. I know these two guys, they both need something to. They had something to prove. I thought that the match was serviceable. It wasn't mind-blowing. It wasn't as great as I thought it could be. It was kind of flat, but again, coming after the New Day debacle, they were put in a tough position, and it just it didn't click for whatever reason. They had good chemistry. They did put on a really good match. Dolph Ziggler started off really showcasing a lot of his amateur background and trying to actually out-wrestle Dean Ambrose, which was cool to me to see, because that Ambrose, his character is that he's a lunatic. Nobody knows what he's going to do next, even him. So to try to just cut him off and grapple him down and wrestle him like that got him out of his element. But Ambrose, he was kind of healing it up. You could tell he was how Asuka and Bayley did it right with the way they were toying with him, with Asuka toying with Bayley. It didn't really work with Ambrose and Ziggler as much. I don't know, and we'll see where it goes from here. I figured that Ambrose was going to retain the title, and he did. They, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, they just can't seem to pull the trigger on Dolph Ziggler and give him the big wins. And so every time you think he's going to finally get a big win, they yank it out from under him. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where this goes. So then, match number 752 of the day. Oh, God, yes. The atrocity of the night. The most fucked up, screwed up, fuck you in the face match of the night. It was Becky Lynch, Carmella, and Naomi versus Natalya, Alexa Bliss, and it was supposed to be Eva Marie. Then she got her wellness suspension. But I have a feeling that this was the plan all along, that Eva Marie was not going to be in this match at all, that this was going to be another bait and switch from Eva Marie, where she wasn't going to be able to make it for whatever reason. And the reason I say that is because they did still do her entrance music, and they did do oh, the whole spiel with their ring announcer and everything, and then suddenly he goes, Eva Marie will not be wrestling because she is suffering from fatigue and negative reaction from the fans, so she is taking a European vacation to recuperate and recover or whatever. So that tells me that this was the plan all along. So they replace her with Nikki fucking Bella. Anybody who's watched my show before knows my feeling on the Bellas from Total Divas. I can't stand them. I don't know. As soon as I saw that it was Nikki fucking Bella, and credit to Solomonster from the Solomonster Sound Off, because I listened to his podcast, his SummerSlam preview show, and he called this. He said that if the mystery partner is Nikki Bella, there's no way in hell she's losing her return match. So my question is, why the fuck return her as a heel? Why? You've got this great built-in story where she'd been out with a neck injury for since January or whatever, and working her way back and everything. So they immediately align her with heels. Why? Why in God's name would you fucking do that? That's the same thing that they did with Seth fucking Rollins. You have these guys that can come back and they can build a good babyface story around them, but you don't. You have them heel, and the person I feel really the most sorry for in this whole debacle is Becky Lynch. God, I love Becky Lynch. I really do. She's up there in my top 3 or 4 women wrestlers right now, but they just continually shit all over her. She is the Dolph Ziggler of the women's division. Each time you think that they're going to do something with her, nah, we're just gonna beat her. We're just gonna beat her down. The fans still go gaga over her entrance and everything, so we can beat her and beat her and beat her and beat her. She's now completely fucking irrelevant. At least she didn't eat the pin in the match. That was, and she did look strong in the match. So that's one thing. But unless the end game is for eventually Becky to face Nikki Bella for the new SmackDown Women's title, and Becky to be the first SmackDown Women's Champion, I don't see what the fuck this did at all. This is just the stupidest fucking crap ever. God, do I hate fucking Nikki Bella. And this killed the rest of the show. Everything after this, nothing could recover from this. Halfway through the match, I was like, okay, well, maybe, just maybe they'll do something where Nikki's team loses, but she doesn't eat the pin. That she could do something where she gets accidentally knocked out by one of her partners or whatever, and then Becky Lynch gets the win. No, that'd make too much fucking sense. Why would you do that? Nikki came back, hit. She's now not using a rack attack anymore. At least she's using a TKO, but still, who fucking cares? It just the most bass-ackward, stupid fucking crap ever. Then, after that atrocity, we had the Universal title match. Where do I begin? First, the ugly ass belt. It's this belt. This belt, only entirely red. It I don't know. I was hoping that they could come up with something cool for it, but they're just basically taking their standard design now and just changing the color for everybody. Well, it is what it is. The match itself, Seth Rollins versus the Demon King, Finn Balor. I knew the match was going to be good, and it was. Those two did put on a hell of a show. And I kind of thought Balor would win, because they are now, like I said, they are desperately trying to come up with the next big babyface to help replace John Cena and the others that are going to eventually have to retire or go away. So, and right now, I just have a very bad feeling that if they keep this kind of booking up with Finn Balor, he's going to get booed like Roman Reigns got booed. Because he's only been on the main roster, like a month, if that, less than a month? And he's already beaten Roman Reigns. He's beaten Seth Rollins. He's beaten Rusev. He's gone through all the big names they have right now, and his character, he doesn't need to be that strong. He needs to be the underdog. He's got a look, and he's very talented, but unless they turn him heel eventually, he's going to start. The backlash will start soon if they continually put him as strong as he is. Right now, he's new and he's novel and he's doing great. I don't think he should have won the match. I don't think he should have done the Demon fucking King right off the bat. I think he would be better off chasing the title. Seth Rollins is a great heel champion. A lot of people shit on his heel run. I loved it. I think he is a great heel champion, and I think Finn Balor chasing him and Rollins throwing roadblock after roadblock after roadblock in his way until eventually they bring out the Demon King to vanquish Seth Rollins. But to blow their load right off the bat, they just could not fucking wait to debut the Demon King. And part of what made him work in NXT was they held off on the Demon. He only brought that out at big matches. They didn't blow their load too soon with that. And that's what they did here. I understand them trying to build a new strong babyface, but I just think this is stupid that they blew their load this quickly with this. Congratulations to him. I'm happy for him. I just really think he's going to get fucking booed out of the building like Roman Reigns pretty soon, unless they do something. If they continually push him the way they are, where he goes over anybody and everybody, it's not going to work. He's not that kind of babyface. He's better at being an underdog, a underneath guy that fights his way up, a Dean Ambrose, if you were. Dean Ambrose had to fight his way through all sorts of obstacles, got beat down for a while, but eventually made his way to the top. That's what they needed to do with Finn Balor. But they didn't. So, anyway, the match itself, like I said, it was a great match. Those two, I knew that the talent was there to put on a great match. It's just the storytelling that gets me. I just really thought it was really fucking stupid that they went the way they went. Then, where the fuck? Oh. Then we get the U.S. title match. Rusev versus Roman Reigns. Fuck. Again, credit to Solomonster, because as I said, I listened to his show beforehand, and he brought up a great point. And even he kind of, he didn't think they would be this stupid. Nobody thought that they could be this stupid. They did this completely ass backwards fucking stupid. They had Reigns and Rusev fight on Raw in a non-title match in a good 20-minute long match that was a good match, but had Roman Reigns go over clean on Rusev. Then, at the pay-per-view, they don't even have a match. They have a pull-apart brawl that just disintegrates right off the bat, and then there was no match. They declared Rusev was unable to continue after both of them beat the living hell out of each other before the bell rang, and just as Rusev was walking to the back, Reigns comes back, spears the fucking crap out of him, leaves him laying. Why the fuck you do that? Why? If you're going to do that, you do it the other way. On Raw, you have the big fuck you, blow apart, pull apart brawl that disintegrates into nothing. And then at the pay-per-view, you have the actual match. I can see why they don't want... I'm not unhappy that they kept the title on Rusev. He is one of the better heels that they have right now, and they need to keep him somewhat strong. So they could have found anything other than what they did to keep the title on Rusev. They could have still had a double count out. They could have had a good 20-minute match that ended with them both Roman spearing him through the ringside thing, and neither one of them making it back into the ring, or one of Reigns barely making it back into the ring, Rusev not, Rusev still keeping the title, whatever. But why the fuck? If I didn't have the WWE Network and I were paying for a pay-per-view for this, I would be pissed. I would be super fucking pissed that they pulled this kind of crap. This is the new network era booking where they figure, we got your $9.99, we can do whatever the fuck we want on pay-per-view now. And shit like this, it really pisses me off. I just think it's just so fucking stupid. And fucking retarded. Plus, it coming off of, like I said, after that 6-women debacle, nothing. The crowd was fucking killed after that. The Finn Balor Seth Rollins match couldn't even get them back into it, and this just killed them even further. This just, I wouldn't have been surprised if people started leaving the building at that point. Then we get to the main event. Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton. Now, I'll be honest. I didn't watch the pay-per-view as it aired, so I was on Facebook and seeing some of the results as it was going on, and reading what people were saying about the Brock Lesnar Randy Orton match, where people were saying, "Oh fuck, Brock Lesnar just shot all over Randy Orton. He busted him open. He went into business for himself. That he no, Brock Lesnar's not that stupid. What the fuck? You people are fucking morons. Anybody who thinks that Brock Lesnar went into business for himself and legitimately started to shoot on Randy Orton is fucking stupid. Because that... I don't care how much money Brock Lesnar makes, they're not going to let him do that shit. Period. He comes in 3 or 4 times a year, does his thing, and he leaves. And this was another case of them finding a way to write him out for an extended period until he comes back again at fucking Royal Rumble or Survivor Series or whatever. He's only going to be doing your big 3 or 4: SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Rumble, Mania. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't do Survivor Series. My guess is he's going to be doing SummerSlam, Rumble, and Mania. Those would be the 3 shows that he's going to do. Because if he did legitimately start shooting on people and going into business for himself and everything, they would just fucking fire his ass or have him arrested for assault or anything. They're not going to put somebody like Randy Orton in the ring with him and let him do something like that. Besides, if he were going to do that, this match would not have lasted as long as it did. He wouldn't have not taken an RKO on a table. He would have not taken a second RKO. He wouldn't have not let Randy Orton get as much offense in as he did. Now, maybe he did get a little overzealous and he did legit bust Orton open with his elbow strikes like he did with John Cena. I don't think that was a case of him shooting on him. I just think he just got a little overzealous and it just added to the match. I didn't see Randy Orton ever beating him to begin with. He's not going to be the one to do it. And then Brock laying Shane out with an F5. Again, no. That's completely scripted. There's no way in fuck he's ever going to do that. And the F5's a move that you have to let somebody do. Yeah, no. My guess is this will eventually lead, and this is what my dream scenario is. That Shane McMahon says, okay, you're going to be the big bad bully. You're going to fucking do your UFC shit. You think you're big, bad, tough. Well, I got somebody who's just big and bad and tough as you and brings out Samoa fucking Joe. And Samoa Joe is the one that will be the one to finally beat Brock Lesnar. Not Roman Reigns. I do not want to see Roman Reigns beat fucking Brock Lesnar. I want to see Samoa Joe be the one to come up and especially after seeing the match that Joe had with Angle back in the day, the quote MMA style match that they had in TNA. I think that's money. That's money fucking falling from the ceiling, pissing out people's assholes. That will be the match. And I want to see that at WrestleMania. I want to see Joe get made at WrestleMania by beating Brock Lesnar. That would be whenever, because I think WrestleMania is when Lesnar's his next contract expires. It's somewhere around in there. That's where I want to see Samoa Joe leap into the main event by being the man that beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Being the man that beat everybody in his path. The indestructible force. That would be the match I want to see. That I think, because Joe can go in there with the Nakamura match. That was a straight, good brawl type match. That would be something that Samoa Joe could do and make it look believable. Right now he's the only person that the WWE has under contract that would be believable enough to beat Brock Lesnar. But anyway, well, hell, it's been about an hour and a half almost. I told you it was going to be a long one, folks, but hope you stick around for all of it. Let me get my plugs out of the way. Josh Baker's Beer and Song of the Day. The On the Network with Richard and Tyler. Justin Dimmitt's Prosper. Kevin Sherman's Heavy Metal and Booze. And Nikki Scar's Ground Zero Combat Wrestling. Check all those out. And thanks for putting up with my drunk ass and my rants, and I hope it made people think. And feel free to comment and tell me your opinions. If you think I'm stupid, if you think I'm an idiot for how I feel about Bobby Roode or Austin Aries or anybody else, or if you agree with me, please leave some comments. Let me know. Also, if there's something you want me to review, if there's a shitty wrestling product that you really want to see me get drunk and go off on, please comment. Let me know. I'm at the Masked Cripple on Twitter. Hit me up there. Follow me. Hit me up. Let me know if you what you think of the show. If you think there's something something you want to see me do or whatever. And that's it. This is George the Animal looking up at the lights. George the Drunken Animal looking up at the lights. Taking the 1, 2, 3 after the J-O-B. Kompai from Japan.